Okay, how you doing out there, everybody? It is Longshore and McKnight on a Thursday. So glad you're with us here today. Brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. We appreciate you checking us out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
Oh, yeah. He's John Longshore. Always has been. I'm Barry McKnight. This is the show. This is Longshore and McKnight. I'm really pleased today because the big bandage is gone, got a little Band-Aid there, hair cover it and all that, but still make sure you go to your dermatologist and get checked. I've still got about a week with the Band-Aid, and then we're good. Glad to have you along with us here.
Barry, if you've got the crew cut, that Band-Aid would be a lot more visible.
Yeah, so, thank goodness I've got some bangs still left. But is there a little better freshness in the air, a little spring to your step, a little, all of a sudden, you're walking out to your car and you got a little happy whistle. Maybe some of you are out there whistling. And you're thinking, footballs are in the air. They're not, pods aren't popping yet. Pads aren't popping yet. But that's happening soon. John, we got NFL, by gosh, artificial football tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It ain't real football. Maybe if you are a hardcore NFL fan, hardcore, yes, but not overboard enough to have a fantasy team, you might recognize a couple of names out there. If you're a fantasy guy, you're going to recognize everyone. Third-round pick out of Bucknell. He's expected to be the long snapper. But other than that, my gosh, you got Chargers and Lions. They're wearing their uniforms. They're playing hard. They've got referees and lights and all that kind of stuff. That qualifies as football on the television, NBC tonight.
Looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you told me NBC. I was wondering if it was on NFL Network, which I do have, unlike Major League Baseball Network, which I don't want.
John can probably tell you the odds and the ticket price.
Oh, I certainly can. Is it just a coincidence, Barry, that the first NFL preseason game tonight, there's only 3 baseball games today in Major League Baseball? I looked at the schedule. I went, wow, only 3? This is great. They ought to do this every day. But I thought, man, that is really weird. Only 3 games. One of them's at early, at 12:05 first pitch. More on that later. And 2 later in the afternoon, early evening. And I'm thinking, I know there's not just 3 games because of a preseason NFL game.
And it's not because of an NFL preseason game.
Okay.
In the world of John, this is perfect. A not real game where very few of the starters are even dressed is going to chase away, the last day of July in Major League Baseball. I wish you had it
this way. You're telling me you are more interested in a souped-up scrimmage with a bunch of second and third teamers instead of a game between 2 teams that are in a pennant race in the AL East. Yeah.
I did notice this. My wife and I went out to lunch. We try to every chance we get. We went out to lunch at this restaurant, Mexican restaurant in Troy. Big shout out, Los Hermanos. And it has TVs up there, around the serapes and the big sombreros. They got thumbtack to the wall.
Get a margarita?
I did not. No. But on there, I was noticing that they had, first of all, Pat McAfee they had on there. It's hard not to notice him when he's on, which I suppose is the reason why they have him on. And he and his entire panel and everything had a big studio setup out live on location, College Game Day-esque, at an NFL preseason practice. Not even a scrimmage. I mean, the scrimmages, today is really kind of the first day for that. But it was at Pittsburgh. Or wherever it was, Latrobe, outside of Pittsburgh. Arnold Palmer's hometown, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And he had, Mike Tomlin on. He had guests left and right. Tomlin's coming up off the sidelines, and he had Steelers guests and all that kind of stuff. It was an NFL preseason camp practice. And, you also, if you look, NFL Network, ESPN, all of these shows, a lot of them are having, you'll see it on social media, certainly clips where cute young sideline girl is interviewing Shedeur Sanders. Interviewing Joe Burrow or something. And then she'll throwing it back up to you, Ted, and Ted's up there with somebody else thinking, I hear the left guard has really made strides during preseason. And I'm thinking, what in the heck is this? I'm not watching, but, the wife and I are eating lunch, and it's up there, and I'm thinking, this is crazy. This is crazy. And the thing that's crazy is not that they're doing it, because I know why they're doing it, John. It's because people will watch it.
Well, you're right. I had a friend of mine that was at a Cincinnati Bengals practice. I think it was late last week, maybe into the weekend. Took some pictures, sent it back to us all. There were a ton of people at this practice. And
they're lining the walkway from the locker room to practice. They're chanting in the stands.
My feeling about practice, I'm thinking, I didn't much like to practice. You think I'm going to go watch somebody practice? I've never understood that. But they love it, the pros. And they make a big deal out of it. And the fans come out there. And, it's kind of a social event as well as, watching your favorite team and your favorite player. And I knew I could smoke John from Wetumpka out early. I'm going to make I don't want to say wager, a bet, but I'm real interested tonight, John. I believe the Charger-Lion game on NBC will outrate all three of the Major League Baseball games that are being played today. That's a layup.
Well,
that is so.
I'm
thinking about saying you can combine all three of those Major League Baseball games, and they still won't have a better rating than the Chargers and the Lions. Should I go that far?
Closed little mind? No, that would mean you would have a closed little mind, because Yankees are playing at home against the Rays, Atlanta at Cincinnati, Texas, Seattle, and all of those are free on MLB TV, which means they'll have numbers. It's not like, ratings where, hey, I watch this or whatever. They'll actually be able to log the numbers. But here's the thing.
Yeah, I'm looking. Okay, yeah. All right. I see that the Braves are on Major League Baseball Network. Tampa Bay, the other two games, it's not listed on ESPN, but I guess they don't list rival networks, I guess.
I guess not. But I just think, how are they that starved for content that they're going to? Could you imagine back in the day one of pads at Jeff Davis High School? I don't know, Phil Snow or Carl Stevens or somebody is over there on the sidelines. Yeah, we're here with backup quarterback John Longshore. John, John's got his pads on. He's the only one that's not sweating bullets out there and everything. He's fresh. He's clean and everything.
Clean.
Yeah. He says, John, what are you really looking forward to for this season? Well, I'm looking forward to maybe having a turf toe or, hangnail or something. Look for the Crimson Tide to be a favorite in 4 of their first 5 games and a push in that other one. I like the matchup. They're a 3-point favorite against Florida State. Duffy Bowles is going to play a big. No, we're not talking about those games, John. Oh, we're talking about your season. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll be good. Well, we'll win the state, let's stuff. And, thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. John Longshore. John says, hi, Mom, and, runs off back to.
Actually, I probably would have answered it like if he said, John, what are you looking forward to most this season? The victory parties, post-game.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, shout out to my buddy such and such and so and so. Those parties rock and all that.
Yeah, they sure do. And make sure Susie's at the party. She's hot.
Yeah. So anyway, football is popping. NFL Hall of Fame game, Canton, Ohio tonight. NBC 7:00. It's the Chargers and the Lions. Practice opened yesterday for virtually everybody. It opened yesterday for Troy, and on that same day, Troy found out that their athletic director is moving on. Brent Jones is becoming the number 2 guy at Georgia Tech and leaving Troy. He had been at Troy since 2017. He had been the athletic director. since 2019 and a frequent guest on the program. Huge believer in the program, huge supporter of Longshore and McKnight.
Oh, definitely.
But the timing is not great. And I think he even recognizes that because, I mean, it's the first day of fall camp. Season begins in less than a month now. It was a month away as of yesterday. Best of luck to him. He's been terrific. He really has, and a big supporter of me and us and you know, the broadcast that we do. Now Kyle George is going to be the interim AD while there's a national search. And Kyle, of course, has been on this program a lot himself. So it's a period of transition for Troy. And people have been calling me and asking me since the news broke. And it broke for me, too. I had no idea. Asking me, hey, did you see this coming? No, not a bit of it. Had no idea. So, you know, there's a lot on Kyle's plate. It's a period of change, but mostly gratitude for Brent for all he's meant for the department and the university and all that. Good luck to him and the family.
And I didn't realize an Atlanta native or near Atlanta, Metro Atlanta native, so kind of getting back home a little bit there as well. Well, listen, I mean, you know, I've always wanted to be an athletic director. I mean, I'm certainly open to it. I will be controversial and make some changes, some sweeping changes. And if you're into that, you got my number. You know, Dr. Hawkins, you know where I am. Could you imagine
day one of the Longshore regime in the corner office of the field house overlooking, well, now the indoor practice facility? John walks in. Hey, buddy. Hey, Buckaroo. Hey, my man. How you doing? John Longshore. Good to see you. You know, everybody, the winds of change are coming. All right, Secretary, give me a hot cup of coffee, make it large, and give me the Notre Dame athletic director's number. Stat. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Yeah, 3 for 1, we're in.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll sign it. Can we play next year? You better believe it. Yeah, that got me in the things I did not know category. I'm like you, Barry. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, neither did I.
But, you know, congratulations. In this business, I mean, people move around. There's no doubt. And the timing's usually never really good, to tell you the truth. I mean, when is the best time to do it? It usually is never a good time, but certainly it happens in this business a lot, whether it's coaches, athletic directors, and now even players able to transfer. So, yeah, that was something I did not know. Also, Barry, you know, we've been following football for a long, long time. We've heard coaches talk about their team and their personnel. I got to tell you, I've never heard the term length and girth used to describe a position group at a football team, but Hugh Freeze did that yesterday at Auburn.
Oh, my gosh. And did people jump all over that? Length and girth. He's talking about in the SEC, linemen need length and girth. And goodness knows those two words, length and girth, coming out of Hugh Freeze's mouth, brings everybody to two other words: burner phone. Come on. The Auburn Tigers hit the practice field for the first time. Malcolm Simmons was out there, the wide receiver who was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend and all that. Does
that
of interest you? For sure. Yeah, it did. They are, you know, there will be he will get his day in court and all that kind of stuff. But I would have thought, and I'm saying this right or wrong, I would have thought that they would have held him out until there's a little more of an idea as to exactly what they're talking about, for a lot of different reasons. Number one, you know, maybe he doesn't deserve to be out there right now. Maybe his off-season actions don't give him the privilege of being out there and playing with the others. And number two, in a pure football sense, I wouldn't want to waste reps on him if he's not going to play, you know?
Well, yeah. And I'd like to just, you know, err on the side of caution. Let's just let this play out. You know, just let's tap the brakes here. I mean, do we really need him to beat Baylor? You know, if we got to have him on the field to beat the Baylor Bears in week 1, I mean, I think we should be able to beat Ball State and South Alabama the next 2 weeks. So I think we should be able to get this taken care of and solved to some degree. But, you know, I just think, you know, until we get this worked out and we get this through the court system, Why don't you just stand on the sidelines and watch us? All right,
yeah.
even if they'll let him do that. But there again, I'm not there. Obviously, the university doesn't have a problem with it because Freeze addressed it and said, the hey, if the university's cool with it, I guess I'm cool with it. I think Patrick Ewing said something similar to that one time.
Moses Malone once was somebody was asking about his $1 million salary. He says, man, if the owner's cool with it, I'm cool with it. Curtis says, why would they hold them out, Barry? Bama ain't never held nobody out for breaking the law. Nothing to see here, fellas.
Whoa.
Maybe not. Of course, we were talking about Auburn, and I understand, Curtis. I'm just saying, holding him out is not an admission of guilt.
No.
It's not that. Evidently, the university's lawyers who have been called in on this and who have, who have provided counsel to the accused, they evidently their advice plays a big role in this. And it's not Hugh's advice. It's not Hugh's thing. It's the university's thing. And, the university says he's a student in good standing. So why not? But I don't know. If it was me, I'd certainly be thinking, I got a lot of young wide receivers. We need to get them ready for Baylor because now we're an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be giving reps to a guy that we might have to suspend for 2 or 3 weeks or, might have to wait for a while. I'm just on a pure
football. I wonder what this
side.
young lady thinks about him practicing.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm surprised somebody hadn't talked to her. Where are all the investigative journalists out there trying to get her side of the story? Well, anyway, we'll find out more later. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, will join us at the bottom of this hour. Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider, at the top of the next hour.
Yep.
And Bill, I would know better as the new Troy athletic director. And I'm open. I wouldn't even call Greg Byrne because I know what the answer is going to be. So why waste my time?
Right.
Not even going to do it. But you know what I would say? I'd start they're scared campaign. They are obviously scared because they won't answer my call. They won't play us. They're playing Eastern Illinois and, Western Missouri Central or whatever, but they ain't going to play. They're scared.
I could see it. John says, I'll tell you this, Lindsay, since we're on camera here, I'll tell you this. I once asked Nick Saban about why he would never play us.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I was ever invited to lunch there, so, they're scared. They won't do it.
That is true.
It is true.
I don't know if that's the reason I wasn't invited back to lunch, but I was never invited back again.
Yeah, it had to be the reason because you were a perfect gentleman. Use the right salad fork and everything.
Sure.
Yep. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. We're underway. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here today on this Thursday, Longshore and McKnight. Presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And I'm telling you, they are enjoyable during these hot summer days. Man, it has been excruciatingly hot. And I enjoyed some Bud Lights yesterday, Barry. We had a little family foursome golf match yesterday. My nephew, my nephew's son, and there was some jawing and there was some needling and some
rattling of car keys.
Yeah, gamesmanship is like what I like to call it.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. You know, when you're playing with your buddies, there's a form of gamesmanship there, but when you're playing with relatives, it even ramps it up a little bit more. I noticed yesterday, a lot of smack talk. You know, still the etiquette of golf was in play. I mean, we didn't go Happy Gilmore and get crazy, but you know, just a little comment here.
Can you believe that putt broke that much?
Little jab here, making sure they were aware how down they were in the bet going up to the next hole to get them thinking about something.
Yeah. And
this was late afternoon into the early evening, which is my preferred time, cocktail hour, actually, when I get on the golf course. And boy, those Bud Lights were really good when it was hot out there yesterday. I can tell you. Whew,
be careful. I was thinking about it because yesterday after the show, I went to campus and went out there for just a moment to go watch practice. And already it was 9:15, 9:20 in the morning. And it was in the 90s later on that after. I practiced in the morning and later on. And it got to be 100. Second straight day yesterday of 100. So be careful.
And where's the rain? There. I mean, everything you can look, everything's so dry.
Yesterday afternoon, I'm driving home, and I mean, it looked like it was about to absolutely unleash.
Yeah,
just a couple sprinkles. That was it. Come on now, let's go. Our program director, aka Robbie from Greenville. God bless you, Robbie. Love having your support. Robbie says, when are you going to have Coach Parker from Troy on the show? Plus, are you going to do an SEC tour? I am also sad to see Brent Jones stepping down as Troy athletic director. I don't know if the question mark at the very end was.
Barry,
Robbie loves to do this.
Yep.
When are you going to have Phil Steele on? When are you going to have Robbie?
Yeah.
Patience. We're going to have these people on. We do it all the time. We have some experience in this. You just got to wait and see. We'll let you know when they're coming. Plus,
I would have lost a wager, Barry. I got to tell you about this particular post on the chat line. Robbie was the first person I thought about when I heard the news about Brent Jones. I said, Robbie is not going to take this well.
Yeah.
And I said, we will hear from Robbie early. I'm a little surprised it was 7:17 before he chatted with us today.
Normally it's like 8:47 right before we leave the air. But we'll get him on. To be honest, you saw it yesterday with Kalen DeBoer. We saw it with Hugh Freeze. You saw it a little bit with Jared Parker in the morning right afterwards. The Dothan and a couple of the Montgomery stations carried it. But there's not really a whole lot you can say. The coaches can be around the players a little bit more in the summer than they used to. They used to not be able to be around them at all. It used to be strictly strength and conditioning coach and all that. A lot of, in this day and age of transfers, a lot of people in after spring. There's players at Troy. I can name a couple. There's a running back, Trey Cooley, a Georgia Tech transfer that I'd love to see, but he hadn't practiced. Same thing with Hugh. Hey, what do you think about this new guy you got from what do you think about your offensive line? Well, we've been in shorts and shells one day. So right now is not the best time to be. I mean, it's not a bad time. We do it just because of it. But I'm just saying, if you want information, here's the funny thing. They've got an idea. They've seen tape. They've watched this. The position coaches, obviously, they've recruited them. But you don't know after one day of preseason camp.
And Robbie, Barry's right. I mean, we're going to get these guys on. We're not even into August yet.
Come on, man.
Before these games kick off. So we'll take a tour around the league. We'll get Coach Parker on. I mean, Kalen's welcome to join us anytime he wants to. Same thing with Hugh Freeze. So don't worry, tap the brakes, but don't get too eager and excited. We got a long month of August. I know people after SEC Media Days are all excited. We've told you, once we get back from Media Days, we go through a lull again. We go through a little lull, and then it picks back up as we get closer to kickoff. There's really not much. And I got to tell you, Barry, maybe I've been in it too long. This time of year just doesn't do much for me. I really don't care what these coaches have to say right now.
They don't know.
They don't. Now, after a couple of these closed scrimmages that will take place in August, then we'll know. Well, how will you know? Believe me, we'll know. So, Robbie, just tap the brakes. Also, Robbie, I got a bone with your next post. It's 7:22.
Yeah, Robbie says this. I don't have any issues with Alabama's 2025 football schedule playing 2 Power 4 non-conference games and 8 SEC games. You need a breather for the players.
Robbie, everything was great until you got into this. You need a breather for the players. Well, what is
that? Is
breather?
Anti-Longshore big time. Yeah, you're right.
What you were showing no respect to Eastern Illinois.
There's not a great deal of respect for John saying this, and at the same time, he's looking up who they are. Who are they again?
Yeah.
See, you got to have respect for who is it? Who is it?
Who is
ULM. You got to have respect for the Panthers of Eastern Illinois.
Yeah. So, Robbie, don't give me this breather. You still got to go to the stadium, put your pads on. You got to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean breather?
Can you imagine?
Is a breather
in the day? Mike Dubose, was it Dubose or Shula? Mike Dubose, one of the Mikes, saying, "All right, I tell you what, Brody, here, just a couple of series. Don't do too much. You've got Western Carolina's, defensive." Defensive tendencies. Just go out there, get the kinks out, throw a few balls, and just take it easy. And then he rolls out right, and they're up 33-3 or something like that. And why in the world he's still in the game? John still can't figure out. And then boom, there goes his ACL.
Sure,
a breather.
No such thing, Robbie.
It's a breather until you pull a hammy.
As Bill from Baltimore says, heck, they got 2 bye weeks built into the schedule. There's your breather. You got 2 bye weeks. Look, I want 12 great games. Why? I mean, that's too much. Don't give me that. These kids are 18, 19 years old. I don't want to hear. They need a breather. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, not that. No, that's way too early for the lip flutter. Way too early. You've got to pace yourself.
Yeah, true.
Auburn loses to Baylor on a last-second 4th down. That's when the lip flutter.
How about this, Barry Curtis? Get Coach Parker on at 7:00 sharp. Make Robbie get up early.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. To be honest, it's difficult to get them to coaches to get an absolute, by gosh, we're sure this is what this player is going to do when they've only really seen him in fall in shorts and shells for a couple of hours in the heat. Here's the other thing is Troy practices while we're live.
Oh, yeah.
We'd have to get an off day in order to get him. And basically a lot of them do. So we're going to do it. And yes, we are going to have our tour around the SEC coming up. As we always do as well. Speaking of coming up, we've been looking forward to a conversation with this guy because there's a lot of things going on the plains. Jason Caldwell from AuburnUndercover.com will join us live when we return. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
It's 4th of July savings all month at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. Save up to $16,000 off new 2025 Ram 2500s, up to $21,000 off new 2025 Ram 1500s, or 1.9% APR for 72 months. Up to $13,000 off new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokees. New 2025 Jeep Compasses as low as $23,999 or up to $8,500 off. And new 2025 Jeep Wranglers up to $13,000 off. These and so many more Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles are on sale now through the end of July at Stivers CDJR in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road, where Price sells cars and trucks.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. Okay, back at it here, about 29 minutes to the top of the hour. Longshore McKnight, joined by our friend Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, covering the Tigers. Practice began yesterday. A lot of great information he's going to tell us about, not only on his website, but everywhere else you can follow Jason. And he joins us now. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
We're doing great. We're going to get Barry to get his microphone turned on.
Well, who in the world did that?
There he is. There
it wasn't me, but yeah, I know you're busy. Goodness gracious. But what was the setup yesterday in the first day of camp? Don't read too much into it. I get that. What were you allowed to view? What did you see? How was it set up? What were they hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, we had almost an hour viewing yesterday. So yeah, we had I think 5 or 6 different periods, and one of those was a 20-minute period. So yeah, we had a lot going on. We're able to see a lot of football yesterday. Obviously, there's no tackling. It was all really pretty much individual stuff. Now they did some team where you're running an offense against air, or you're running a defense against air.
Right.
We saw some of those things, but we get a chance to see guys run around and see a lot of these newcomers. And nowadays that's really beneficial because, they added several guys after the spring, from the portal side of things. So you start talking about, whether it's Caleb Wheatland at linebacker, James Ash at defensive line, they added a few of these guys after the spring. And it's not like recruiting where you had seen those guys for, maybe a couple of years and you kind of knew what they were going to be. These are guys that, you haven't really seen. You can watch them play at wherever they are, but you still don't get a chance to really see what they look like until they get on the field. So that was probably the biggest benefit of day one, is just kind of seeing everybody on the field and on the hood for the first time.
Do you think you'll be able to watch practice for that amount of time from here on out? I mean, will it be like an hour?
I don't think it'll be that way every day,
Yeah.
But Hugh Freeze has been pretty good about when we're out there saying, hey, after this period, no cameras and phones, but you can stay for longer. So he's done that a pretty good bit the last couple of years, and so it allows you to see things. You don't document it with video and photo, but it's still good to see it. And so he's been pretty good about allowing those moments. So I think we'll have some more of those opportunities.
Was Malcolm Simmons there?
He was there. Obviously we got the official word from Hugh Freeze yesterday, and then I was able to do some background on things I had learned about Malcolm Simmons. And this is not the criminal side of things. That's still to come. And they did get the preliminary moved up to August 8th. It was originally scheduled for the 13th. It got moved up to the 8th. That was by request of him and his lawyers. They're like, we're let's go ahead and do this now. We're ready. And basically what I did was I wanted to explain how this happened, that he was able to practice and be back on campus. Because once an arrest is made in a domestic situation, it becomes a Title IX issue when it involves a student. And so once it becomes a Title IX issue, then Auburn's athletic department, football coaches, all those people they have zero to do with it.
Out of it.
It is hands off for them. It becomes strictly a university matter. And so this was a university matter. They talked to folks they needed to talk to, did the things they needed to do, and they found no fault for him. He was on an interim suspension from campus other than final exams and to meet with the EOC, which is basically the Title IX folks. Once they found him in no fault, then that was lifted and he was able to return to campus. And so when that happens, they inform, the university and everybody else involved that he is cleared to do activities in their eyes. Now, there's still a probationary period. Obviously, that can change, depends on what happens, if they were to go to a trial and all those things. But at the moment, they felt like that the information they had, that he was cleared to be out there, so he was at practice.
Jason, I'm just curious about practice. Years ago, you could go to a practice and sit there all day. And obviously with phones and instant messaging and cameras, that's changed everything. I think there was some paranoia out there with some coaching staffs around the country. But unless a team is like installing the wishbone or, putting some player in a different position, I mean, what are you going to see at practice that's going to be this earth-shattering news that your opposition's going to be able to use against you?
Yeah, I think over the years I've learned the biggest issue for folks is when there's video rolling and you can hear verbiage. When you hear what a play is called, what a check is, and then people can see what that is.
Yeah.
There's no secrets. Everybody lines up and does similar things, but I think it's what it's called, and can you hear what it's called on a video? To me, that's really the only thing.
Interesting.
Other than that, it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, there's nobody doing anything that's groundbreaking, earth-shattering, especially on day one of practice. But I do think that's probably, from a coaching standpoint, that's probably the thing you look at, because when you're making a check on the field, even though, now coach is talking directly to the quarterback, but people still have to see some things. And maybe that's part of it. If a guy's communicating, especially on the offensive line, something like that, then that's probably the only thing there. But in the grand scheme of things, there's not a lot to be gained or learned nowadays. Especially, like I said, when you get to those periods and you say, look, phone's off and everything, then that's to me, there's nothing then after that.
I can't imagine what your phone is like this day. People buzzing, asking you questions, wanting to follow up on this, because I get it, usually third or fourth hand. Somebody said, when you get to Jason today, ask him about freshmen, specifically Elijah Melendez.
Yep. Linebacker from Florida, from Kissimmee, Florida. Physical, big guy that had injuries as a junior. And so it probably kept him from being maybe as high a recruit as a senior. But from a physical standpoint, I mean, this is a kid that has all those tools. And so he's a guy that got mentioned fairly early and as a middle guy. Now, you got Robert Woodyard returning, who has some experience, not a ton, but a redshirt junior. So he's been here for a little while. And then they brought in Caleb Wheatland from Maryland. But Elijah Melendez, they're like, hey, he's the other middle linebacker. And so you got, really nowadays, you have two linebacker spots is basically all you have on defense, because pretty much everybody plays a fifth defensive back for probably 75% of the time. And, on the other side, you got DeMarcus Riddick, but you have Riddick, and then you have a couple other young guys, Xavier Atkins, the LSU transfer, and then a couple of freshmen. But, yeah, I mean, you look at, Elijah Melendez, one of those guys that I think will be involved, will probably play some special teams and do some things like that for this team.
Humor me on this one too, because this is the same guy, and this was last night. I'm sorry, it was last night. And he's from Montgomery. Jeremiah Cobb, is he okay?
Yeah, I actually ran into him yesterday. He has a broken finger, and so in the grand scheme of things, a month from now it won't be an issue.
Okay.
Now they put a splint on it, wrap it up, and so he's not doing contact work probably for a little while, but he's able to run, do ball drills, do all those things. They just have him in a non-contact jersey. So basically you get a couple of weeks removed and he'll be good to go. But right now they're like, look, he's got a splint on his hand. We're going to wrap it up, take care of it, and make sure that there's no serious damage. So,
I guess we'll really know more. We always seem to find out information when the scrimmages begin. When will Auburn's first full-scale scrimmage be?
yeah, my guess it probably won't be till sometime the middle of next week or later, because these, nowadays the thing that is very different is that it used to be called 2-a-days and there were 3-a-days involved.
Yep.
Now these kids never leave. They never leave campus, and so their 2-a-days started when spring practice ended, basically, because you now have these time during the week where you can be with your strength and conditioning coach. You also have a little time where you can get on the field and do some things, so it never ends. And so now I think for them, they're probably, ease more into it now than they used to, because you don't have to worry about getting in shape. You can now do a lot more mental work. And they started doing that last year. So I would guess probably closer to the end of next week, because you go 2 days, then you'll probably put some shells on for a couple of days, have a couple of days to do that. So I would guess, we haven't gotten the schedule yet, but I would say probably, next Thursday or Friday would probably be my guess, somewhere around in there.
I guess a non-football question, but do you think it will be a major enterprise, a major boon for Jordan-Hare Stadium to host concerts and live shows and stuff like that? What's the idea behind that, Jason?
Yeah, we've seen it. I remember they had Kenny Chesney and a few folks there one time before, and so but you look up now and you look all over the country, and Metallica was at Virginia Tech, and you've had different people playing some of these things with Garth Brooks and all these people. LSU's had several, these big ones. They've had Chris Stapleton and all these people. And so I think it's just another way for a place that, when you start talking about, has 6 or 7, maybe 8 events a year, to go, okay, well, let's see if we can find a way to have more events at a place like that. And so I think it's just another way to increase, because it would be a revenue boost. You'll have to pay them to come, but then you get part of it. I mean, there'll be some money involved too. So I think it's just another way to kind of increase some revenue, but also to use a place that is only used a handful of times a year.
Yeah. I'm all for that. I think that you just got to make sure the weather's nice. You don't want to be. I wouldn't want to be watching a concert tonight, as hot as it's been. But maybe in the early spring or something, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You'll have to do these where you can then make sure that your surface of your field, everything is ready to go, and give you time to do that. So yeah, these would probably be after spring, that April-May window. You'll have, and you might have one a year. You won't have multiple of these. So things, there'll be one big event, and then that'll be it. You'll move on. So
yesterday we talked a little bit about, Barry had mentioned an article at CBS Sports about uniform updates, and obviously with Auburn being now in the Nike family, that's an update.
Yep.
That'll be something different. But Barry, I believe you mentioned something in that article that they stated that the Auburn jersey, where it says Auburn kind of in a small, that the font's going to be bigger. Are you aware of that? And if so, how big will it be?
Yeah, I mean, we saw when guys kind of had picture day or whatever, they had it. It didn't seem overwhelmingly big to me. I don't think it was a big difference. So it didn't look anything out of the ordinary, in my opinion. And I mean, those are the jerseys. If they're wearing those, that's going to be the game jerseys, I would assume. So it didn't look overwhelmingly different for me. I don't think there's going to be a noticeable difference for folks when talking about Auburn's uniforms this year, other than having a swoosh on it. That's going to be pretty much it.
Final question here that I've got for Jason Caldwell, auburnundercover.com. I had to admit, when we were at SEC Media Days up in Atlanta, and, we saw Hugh Freeze walk in or walk across, and we saw Jackson Arnold walk across, and we saw Connor Lew walk across. And then I saw Keldrick Falk in street clothes, street clothes. He was dressed up very nicely. Holy smokes, he looked a lot different than I remembered him last year, and he looked worlds different physically, Jason, than he did when I saw him down at Highland Home. He's gotten bigger since he's been there, but man, since the end of last year, he's gotten a lot bigger from even then.
Yeah, and even from the spring, he's now close to 290 pounds. And
Yeah.
I talked to his position coach during the summer, and he looks incredible, and he said he's gotten bigger, but it hasn't impacted. From talking to the strength folks, they're like, look, his numbers are the same. Like he's still
I was worried his explosiveness and stuff like that at 280.
All those numbers are still the same. He's just got, and that's what happens with older guys. That's why it's so valuable to keep guys in a strength and conditioning program and to keep guys on track, because you see those kind of gains. And heck, you're already seeing it. It also happens for freshmen. And for freshmen, when they're early enrollees, it takes maybe a little bit longer to see it because you don't have that summer. And the summer is the really valuable part, but you see it when they get back in the fall. Right. Well, this year you see it because they got a couple of guys that weren't on campus for the spring, but got here in May. And from May to now, you see the difference. Cale Ellis is the biggest one to me. He's a guy that actually graduated high school early. He should be a senior in high school this year.
Right.
He graduated high school early in May, a full year early, and he's already on campus as an offensive lineman, as center position, and he looks like he's 22 years old. But way different than he did this time last year. Now, he's always a big kid, but you see the difference once you get on campus and once you get in all the things that happen. And so for a guy like Keldrick Falk, it probably took him year 2 because he had that shoulder issue.
Right.
And so it took him a little while, but he's now had 18, 20 months of healthiness, being able to go, and you see the difference in these guys as they continue to mature physically and in a program. And Keldrick's probably the prime example of that.
Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, the 2-minute warnings, one of my new favorite features on the website, that and so much more. Tell us about it.
Yeah, a ton of stuff. I think we ended up with 16 or 17 different things from yesterday. So if you want to just go spend some time, hang out, there's plenty of content to look at. And already this morning, I got a second photo gallery up. Philip Marshall has his thoughts on transfers and fitting in. 2-minute timeouts up. I have Xavier Chaplin's story here shortly, the Virginia Tech transfer. So here before they get on the field for day 2 this afternoon, it is another afternoon practice. We'll have more than 20 pieces of content up from these last 24 hours. So come check it out. Right now, I think you can do $1 for the first month. If you never subscribed, $1 for the first month. There's some deals and discounts you can find there at the site. On the front page, you can look on the little banner on the side, and there's some sign-up discounts there. But come check it out. Got a lot going on. AuburnUndercover.com 24/7.
There you go. And as you see on the bottom scroll on social media at ITAT Jason. Jason, thanks very much as always. Appreciate the insight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. Jason Caldwell joining us each and every week. Auburn Undercover. He, of course, covering the Tigers. He's on top of it.
This resonates with me. What he was talking about late in the visit, John. This is why a lot of times, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times, high school sweethearts, when they go off to college and like the guy doesn't go to the same college with her or stays back at home while she goes off to college. Yeah. That's why sometimes it's a roll of the dice, really, as to whether it'll last, because of what he was talking about with Keldrick Falk. After she's off in college on her own for that first year and he's back at home and they're calling, they're FaceTiming, and they're texting. And then she comes, I can't wait to see you. I'll be back back in June. And you look at her when she goes back in summer after her first year away and you're like, whoa.
That's called the freshman 15. Sometimes it's the freshman 30.
Yeah, it's not just football players. It's all I'm saying.
Isn't. You know, I've seen a lot of sorority girls pack it on in that first 6 months or so. Yeah.
So anyway, that does happen.
Yes, it does. About 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America, delivered daily. 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead 288-4272. Your order will be ready for pickup.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times await. Grab some Buds!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Couple of minutes. Rodney Orr will be joining us, the Tider Insider from Tuscaloosa. You know, Barry, we have a little segment. A little thing we do called, things you need to know, or things I did not know, or things, we need to talk about. I think there's another one we need to throw out there. Something you should think about.
Noodle on with John.
Something you should consider. And I'm not saying this is the case, but it would not shock me. Daniel at 7:36 with a chat that kind of got me thinking. In this day of NIL and money flowing to college athletes, would it be that big of a stretch that maybe somebody out there, I'm going to make something up and I'm going to profit off of it? I'm going to pretty much blackmail somebody to get some of their money or squeal that they did something to me that maybe they didn't. Now, I'm not saying that's the case here with this young man at Auburn, but when I read that, I thought, sounds a little crazy, but in this day and age, I've heard a lot crazier.
John doesn't know the girl. I don't know the girl. John doesn't know Malcolm Simmons. I don't know Malcolm Simmons. Don't know the details. And that's not factoring in the observation. I don't know the details.
I mean, wasn't there some Hollywood actor that claimed he got beat up or mugged on the way to the subway?
Jussie Smollett, I think was his name, and it didn't. Heck, I remember that, and I'm not equating this to anything, but all I'm saying, and I think all John is saying, is this type of thing has happened before. I'm very sensitive to ladies who suffer,
no doubt,
that type of thing, who go through that type of abuse, and it's absolutely revolting.
Unfortunately, there's this element of our society that will take advantage of that.
And the number one thing that always comes to mind is the case 15 years ago with the Duke lacrosse team.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lady who alleged that the members of the Duke lacrosse team, several members, had sexually assaulted her. And those guys lost their scholarships. They got kicked out of school. Obviously, the prosecutor, the district prosecutor, his name was Wiltfong, I believe, in Durham. That was where he was going to make his mark. This was going to be his case that would vault him into national prominence and everything. And he really went after it and fabricated some stuff and everything. And years later, the accuser, she admitted that she made the whole thing up. So, yeah. So that kind of stuff has happened before. I don't know if it's in that case.
Yeah.
This is Daniel's
Sure.
comment. This
But when
is
I
Daniel's
read that, I
thing.
thought, I'm not saying that's the case, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me if that did happen. There again, don't know any of these people involved, but there's some crazy stuff going out there. And there again, college athletes are making a lot of money. Some of them, not all, but a lot of them are 6-7 figures in some cases. You know what? I think I'm going to get a little piece of that money. How am I going to do that? I'm going to make up some story of what happened. And I don't know. There again, I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it wouldn't shock me that somewhere, sometime, something like this will pop up and I'm going for the money grab.
Here's what I'm confident in. I'm confident that the investigators, that the law enforcement personnel, the detectives, big law enforcement believer, they'll get to the truth of the whole thing, whether there's a great deal of substance to it or not, whatever it takes, they will come up with the actual truth. And I do believe in that for sure. Also, again, Brent Jones, no longer the athletics director at Troy. He'll be the number 2 guy at Georgia Tech. You're seeing that type of thing happen a lot, where a group of 5 sitting athletic directors will move up a level, but really down. He's not the athletic director at Georgia Tech. The number 2 guy at Auburn, I think he's number 2 guy under John Cohen in the athletic department, is a guy named Jared Benko, who was the athletic director at Georgia Southern. You're starting to see that happen a little bit more than you ever did before.
I wonder, for a guy like Brent, is it easier, or is it a easier path for him to become an athletic director at a Power 5 school, being in the role that he is at Georgia Tech now, than it would have been from him to move to Troy to, say, North Carolina State as their athletic director?
That's a fair observation. And the first thing is, I don't know. I do know that sometimes seems to be the case in the job I do. And believe me, I love it at Troy. It's been a blessing. I'm not looking to go anywhere else. I'm not a candidate. I'm not pursuing any other job like ever again. But some guys, in the business complain because they get at a Division II school, and you get earmarked that that's what people's perception of you is. And so, if you're applying for like the North Carolina State job as a broadcaster or something like that, they're going to look at that, and this guy may be the best broadcaster in the country, but he's at Bucknell or he's at Catawba or something like that. So I imagine maybe there's some of that type of thing. Well, this guy's in the group of 5. But I've always believed that one of the great things about our country is talent and perseverance and hard work will always be its own reward. I mean, the people who are good at what they do will always rise. I have to believe that. You and I have seen people before, and you think, man, I knew that guy was pretty good, but look at him now. I mean, we've seen a lot of people that way in our business and athletics. Usually, it's like a player at a 1A school in Alabama. If you're good enough, they're gonna find you. You're gonna get opportunities.
I'm with you there, Barry. I've also thought, though, I think timing has a lot to do with it. Being in the right place at the right time has a lot to do with it. And yeah, you're right. I mean, I look at Joe Davis, who was at the Montgomery Biscuits, and now he's doing Dodger baseball. I mean, how that ever happened? I'm thinking, wow, man, that's to me, that's not the norm. That is a unusual circumstance.
Well, he's an unusual broadcaster, but I mean, you knew. I mean, you knew Joe back then, and all. Yeah. You could tell. I could tell. I could certainly tell. And he and I had a jillion conversations before he got the biscuit shop. I knew him back when he was in college. You could tell that guy was going places.
Sure.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me the quality of his work, even then, going from the Biscuits to the Dodgers. You're right. I mean, it doesn't happen every day. That's not something that is unremarkable. But it's like Steve Martin said, in an interview one time. He says he's always believed just be so good that they can't ignore you. And he was that. Joe Davis. I mean, you saw his work and you could not ignore it. That's a good analogy.
But I guess in the SEC, Barry, you know more than I would. But just me as a casual observer, it just seems like the voice of SEC schools. There's always somebody kind of waiting for their turn,
right? Yeah,
for their time to come up. I mean, I'm thinking.
Well, that's what happened with Rod. That's what happened with Andy. That's what happened with Chris over in Alabama. Yeah, that kind of stuff. That is, and Roger Hoover, who I love at Alabama. Roger, he's going to be he's going to be a Division I voice sooner rather than later. I'm a big believer in that guy, and he's in a really good position. If you ask me.
Sure, I'm with you. Mike Keith that took over at Tennessee. Is he a Tennessee grad?
He is. He was on the Vol Network for years with John Ward, and then he went with the Titans. And when the chance came back, it's interesting with him. The new guy who replaced Mike Keith as the voice of the Tennessee Titans is Taylor Zarzour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is a Montgomery guy. He went to Huntington.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And your point is good. I mean, certainly your comparisons and analysis are good. I do believe, and I'll go on record as saying this, Brent Jones is going to be a Power 4 athletic director, and I think it's going to be pretty soon. He's very well connected. He did a lot of this. He did because of his family. He's certainly got a beautiful wife, 2 great kids, and everything. His mom and dad, he's with them and everything, and going back home. But it also, for him, I'm sure, made sense professionally as well. So he'll be up there among the upper, Barry,
I got to tell you, though, I'm going to miss those sport coats and those outfits Brent would wear to the football games. Man, those were just must see. I don't know where you got all those threads, but man, those were awesome. Hey, I think it's time for Rodney Orr. Yeah, I see.
Why not?
Yeah, he's in the green room. Let's bring him up. Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider, brought to you exclusively each and every week from our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. We had somebody yesterday asking us about those great po' boys. Yep, great for lunch. I go by and pick one up. I like the grilled grouper, 288-4272, or any seafood item you may want. They've got it delivered daily, fresh from the Gulf. You can have it at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road.
Rodney, good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, Rodney, how you doing today? I think I see him there.
Yeah, I see him. He has muted his microphone, so we can't.
I tell you guys, I apologize.
Okay.
This thing, I don't know why I keep hitting that, but I apologize. I'm doing well.
Believe me, I do that all the time. I'm doing well. First off, boy, we had a lot of questions. I think it was the last time you visited the documentary that you were a contributor to, that you were on screen with. Is it Nothing But a Winner? Is that the name of it?
Yes, correct.
That evidently is going through a wide release these days, all over the place, is what I understand. I wanted to make sure that was the one that you had talked about, because I know you had rave reviews about the experience of being in that. For those people who do not know, it is in wide release. Tell us a little bit more about the about the move, about the work, about the piece?
Yeah. Okay. So nothing but a winner. Actually, it's a documentary about. It starts with the Coach Bryant era. Goes through. The '60s when Alabama obviously had an incredible amount of success. From 61 they won a national championship. Obviously, 64, 65, probably should have won it in 66. And then how they kind of tailed off a little bit, as the latter the 60s and 1970, and how integration impacted Alabama football there in the 70s when obviously Wilbur Jackson and John Mitchell joined the program, and then the recruitment and the inclusion of the black athlete within the program, and just how they impacted that impacted Alabama football in the 70s. It was pretty, it was extremely well done. I thought it was very well done. So it opens, like you said, or actually, I think it's only a one night run or one day run for now. Could that change? I mean, I guess it could. And I assume it'll be, available, on streaming networks or whatever at some point. But it was a pretty incredible experience. Actually, we had the red carpet premiere 2 weeks ago, yesterday. So it was a great experience to be a part of that. And like obviously a lot of Alabama legends were involved.
So I've seen the trailer for it. Man, the trailer will get you fired up. Just watching that, I can't imagine what the entire production will do. I'm looking forward to seeing that, Rodney. I know I've heard a lot of great positive things about it.
Well, I'll say this, John, because you do go back a ways and with Alabama football, and Barry, you do too. You guys, do you remember the 1984 movie with Gary Busey?
Oh yeah.
I do not remember it fondly, but I do remember it.
Okay, so just real quickly this is much better done than that one. So
Good.
Well, that wouldn't take much. I can promise you that. That was pretty bad. Practice. Okay, they got underway yesterday. Shorts, helmets, that type stuff. Day one, but hey, it's a start. People are excited. What did you hear? What did you make out of it?
John, Barry, I want to be careful because, you can have a tendency to become positive. And I posted, mostly positive stuff yesterday, and people started responding, 17-0 and all that type of stuff. So I'm not really trying to be, I would say this, John and Barry, I've walked into a lot of those first practices and seen a lot of great teams with Nick Saban. I'll never forget walking into the 2011 first day of practice, and I looked out there and I said, my gosh, I think I'm in an NFL training camp. And I posted that on Tighter Insider, and got some of the negative responses that you get of being overly optimistic. Well, that team won the next two national championships, almost won a third. And a lot of those guys were part of all of those. So now what I'm saying is not predicting national championship. I'm just saying this is a good looking football team, athletically, on the hoof. You look at the offensive and defensive linemen. I'm not saying that they are stacked by any means, but I am saying they've done a really good job of conditioning this team and preparing them for this season. Now, how that transfers or translates onto the field, that obviously remains to be seen. But I do think that there's a really, really good vibe and a lot of confidence that this team is going to be pretty good.
Did you see Deontay Lawson, Rodney?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. I watched Deontay a little bit. I thought he was wearing a big brace on his knee.
Yeah.
I thought he was moving really well, given where he's come from with that. And I thought he was cutting. He did not seem to lack confidence in his movements. Now, I do know that Kalen DeBoer said he would be limited at least early on, in terms of the volume of reps and what he does, what they ask him to do. I don't think they want him to overextend himself, obviously. But I thought he looked pretty good, right now. Now, I will say this too. He does look like he's lost a little weight. He looked a little thinner than what I recall from last year.
Ty Simpson, we talked about this yesterday, maybe earlier in the week. It just seems like there's this foregone conclusion that he's the guy. Coaches said if they played tomorrow, he'd be the starter. I'm trying to think, what has he done besides wait his turn? I mean, I saw him in the South Florida game, and I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just, saying what's fact. Hadn't really played a lot, mop-up duty. Is it just because he's been in the program? Is that the edge that he has over the two other guys that we're told are probably better athletically, but maybe not ready to grasp the entire offense just yet?
No, I would say this. Listen, I truly believe Ty has all the physical tools. I mean, he's got good size. He's decent height. He's probably 6'2". He's 215 pounds. I mean, he's a solid kid. He's got a really strong arm, or definitely a strong arm. He's very athletic. I mean, now he's not Milrow athletic, obviously,
Right.
but he is sneaky athletic. He moves around really well. You remember the 80-yard touchdown run he had in the game a couple of years ago where he dropped the ball as he was crossing the goal line. Ty is surprisingly athletic. Okay, so I think he's got all those tools. The thing, John and Barry, that I don't know is this, and you touched on it a little bit, John, with saying the lack of experience, because we haven't seen him. How does he handle adversity? What about decision making, especially in pressure situations? How does he respond to those things? He's never been in those situations on this level. So again, like you said, John, that's not being critical. That's just saying we don't know. And I know that Ty has been a really emotional kid earlier in his career. There was some comparisons to young Mac Jones, the way he kind of responded to things. My understanding is, based on people, because we don't have that opportunity to stay out there all the practices, but my understanding over the last year or so is that Ty's come a really long way in terms of the maturity aspect of it, handling your emotions, handling when things don't go well. But at the same time, I'll go back to what I said. How does he do that in a game? Mac Jones had to overcome that. Nick Saban talked about it a lot. And I think that based on everything I hear, they're pretty confident that Ty has taken a really big step, but we really don't know until he gets out there and does it.
Yeah.
Rodney Orr, Tiger Insider. You've talked before. You updated us last week on the status of the high school recruit from Mobile named Tank Jones. Is today the day for him, Rodney?
Supposed to be. I think he's announcing on the Pat McAfee show, right? Isn't that correct? Have you guys heard that?
Well, I don't watch Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Well,
how about that?
I mean, that's what at least that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so Tank is an interesting story. I know that last week Alabama had a pretty good degree of confidence that they were in a good position. And anytime the home team's feeling confident, that's generally a good sign for them. Now, again, I'm not saying they were bubbling over with we've got this guy, but I do think that they felt like they were in a good position. And so, but my understanding, John and Barry, and again, these things change, but based on some pretty good sources I spoke to, and I'm talking multiple sources, last night, yesterday, Oregon has a pretty good opportunity awaiting him. And I talked to someone very close to Texas A&M yesterday, and they said, hey, we're tapped out. We're not in this anymore. We're not. That's the feedback I got. Now, did things change? Yeah, we've seen these things change in the last 5 minutes before an announcement. And so I'm not making really any predictions that it's not going to be Alabama, but I do know last night the strong feeling was that it was going to be Oregon. I don't know if Texas A&M could have because if they decided to lay something out, then they could be extremely competitive there. So you kind of get the drift where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I do think that there's the opportunities in terms of revenue sharing and NIL might be something that's turning Tank's head.
Yeah, I can imagine. So interesting. We'll keep an eye on that, see how that plays out later today. You kind of touched on this, Rodney. You mentioned about how the physical shape of this football team stronger. Just being in the weight room, the conditioning, things of that nature. And maybe this will be the answer, but there again, something else I posed earlier this week, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Alabama finished 9-4 last year. I guess they played a bowl game. I'm not sure that was really
I keep
accurate.
telling John it's in all the record books.
Yeah.
They kept a box score and everything.
Played in some bowl game in Florida. I can't even tell you which one it was. Lose 2 games on the road as a double-digit favorite. We all know about the downside of the 9-4 team last year in Kalen DeBoer's first season. What has changed in 9 months? I mean, I'm hearing these football pundits out there saying, Bama's a national championship contender. They're going to battle for the SEC championship. They're one of the top teams in the league. They weren't last year. So what's happened in 9 months to put them in this position in a lot of these so-called experts' eyes?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I do think that the transitional year was very difficult in a lot of ways. And I think that now, if we're looking at it from the perspective of those guys that make these predictions, first of all, I think, obviously I think Alabama's got a lot of talent. I think that too, Kalen DeBoer's track record in his second year, it generally shows that his teams make a ton of improvement, or significant improvement. From year 1 to year 2, familiarity in the system. I think having Ryan Grubb return, and this is nothing against Nick Sheridan. I just think having Ryan Grubb back, the success that he had at Washington, his track record, I think that's something that has certainly sparks a lot of confidence. I think when you have an opportunity to go through that first year, the second year, it's pretty much your program. So you're laying down the law on, this is the way we're going to do things. And my understanding is right after that Michigan game, Kalen DeBoer went to every position group, every aspect of the program and said, you know what? You guys got to step it up. We got to step it up because this year was unacceptable. And, I know that they had those meetings with the players and said, look, if this isn't the way you want to be something you want to be a part of, feel free to hit that door. I mean, because we're going to get the kind of guys we're going to do it this way, and this is the way it's going to be. So I think, John, Barry, look, I hate to say, okay, so some of the stuff has been weeded out that maybe made things more difficult. But I do think that they feel better about the chemistry of this team.
I get exactly what you're saying, Rodney. Weeding out is a good term. I've called it the DJ Hall situation. After Saban's first year, kind of weeded some of those people out of there, and we saw what happened after that.
That's exactly right, and that's a great comparison. And I think that, again, I'm not saying national championship because I don't know. I think that the one thing we have to see is how do they perform consistently on a week-to-week basis. You can't beat Georgia and lose to Vanderbilt. Handle LSU down there in Baton Rouge and just fall flat at Norman, Oklahoma. Those are the things that I'm looking for is consistency in performance, as Nick Saban used to say.
Final question I've got, and it's back to recruiting. Alabama got a commitment for 26 from a 6'7" lineman named Bear Fretwell out of Georgia. How big? I mean, the guy's name's Bear, for goodness sakes. Of course he's going to flip and go to Alabama, right? I was about to say how big of a commitment. He's big anyway, but is that a significant addition for Alabama in your estimation?
Well, let me say this real quickly. There's another offensive lineman in the state of Georgia named Bear that was expected to commit to Alabama, a lifelong Alabama fan, and he picked Michigan earlier in the process.
What?
Yes. Can you believe that? A lifelong Bama fan too. And he picked Michigan. So they did get their Bear Fretwell, as you said, from Brooklet, Georgia. He's 6'7", 290. This is the crazy thing about him. He was timed at a laser time of 4.77 recently at a camp. Now, what's kind of the value of that for an offensive lineman? They want offensive linemen that are athletic and that can move. I think John and Barry, the thing with him is he was committed to Georgia Tech. He is only rated a 3-star. He's a guy that you develop. I mean, you'll have to develop them all, obviously, but he's really a developmental guy. He has all the tools. So in terms of being able to develop those. So we'll see how that goes. But that's Bear Fretwell.
Love that name. Bear Fretwell. That's interesting. All right. So practice day one's in the books. What's the rest of the schedule look like? And I guess, and I mentioned this earlier, Rodney, I mean, we're going through shorts and helmets and blah, blah, blah. But really that first scrimmage, that's when we'll hear and see some things. Some of us, some will. When is that scheduled?
August the 9th. It's a morning scrimmage, August the 9th. I think it starts around 9 or 9:30 in the morning. And so it's an early one. Then on August the 16th, they have their second scrimmage of the camp, which they can only have 2 full-scale scrimmages.
Right.
So that second one starts a little later. It's closer to 11:30 in the morning, just FYI. But so yes, but no, the next practice this morning. In fact, after I get off with you guys, I'm gonna scurry over to the athletic complex, and it's another practice this morning. Let me tell you something just real quickly.
Sure.
Okay, so they practice in the mornings. They practiced in the mornings last year. And I hear this all the time. This is what makes us soft. Practicing in sweltering heat. I mean, let me tell you. Yeah. So anyone that thinks they're kind of getting off the hook by practicing in the mornings, it's hot. It's really, really hot.
Yes.
I still get the heebie-jeebies, Rodney. I mean, this time of year, that's when high school football practice started. It was always the first Monday in August. And, that morning practice, could not stand it. It was terrible. I'd much rather practice in the afternoon.
Yeah. Yes, no doubt. And listen, the one good thing is, John and Barry, no more 2-a-days, obviously.
Yep. Right.
And his Dubos had 3-a-days.
Well, we'll let you scurry on over to practice. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. How do people access all the information you provide?
Well, I appreciate it, Barry and John. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check. Gives you all our premium stuff. As you know, we had DeBoer's comments. We had our On the Hoof report from day one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had, the video of practice highlights. So it's all there on the front page. And then, our All Sports Forum. That's our community. That's where everyone discusses all of this stuff. So it's a lot of action on TiderInsider.com.
Best place to be. I'm telling you, Tider Insider. He is there covering it. He's heading to practice right now. So be careful, Rodney, as you head over there. And we look forward to talking to you next week.
Okay, guys. Take care. Appreciate it.
Man, thank you. That is Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider. Barry, he's brought to you by this guy. That's Range Pro from Destin Connection Seafood Market, proudly bringing you the Tider Insider. Rodney Orr. Go back.
Does that guy ever age? I mean,
no. Look that way in college. You kidding me?
Yeah. Well, how about that? Yeah.
I think he caught that blue marlin as well on the wall, but that's some of that Gulf shrimp that he has there fresh daily. Is see the snapper in the showcase there. He hooked me up with some snapper a couple of weeks ago, Barry, that was fabulous. Showed you some pictures of that. 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead 288-4272. He'll have your order ready for pickup. Whether you want it straight out of the showcase or you want David to cook it up for you, they can do it at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Go by and see him today. Tell them Longshore and McKnight sent you.
There you go. How about that? My man Range Pro. Goodness,
Man, no kidding.
Now, his man is, well, anyway, he's aged. But anyway, the next segment, the Phantom's Daily Dog.
Yes.
I'm sure one will come up, but I'm telling you, the pickings are pretty slim out there
Well, it
right
depends
now.
on where you're looking.
You've got to look. You got to turn over a few rocks and look behind a line or two and see what's back there. So yeah, that's coming up. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. All righty, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here today. Just sending Rodney a quick note. If you notice, you go to Tighter Insider. Rodney posts the interviews that we have with him each and every week.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting him know what the episode number was, and he'll have that up on TI. If you want to check it out, do so. It's right there on the homepage of TighterInsider.com. We really appreciate Rodney doing that for us.
He helps us out. We get him a few numbers on his website.
Yeah.
How it works. Now, Curtis, this is what I love. Curtis has picked up on this. He says, let me tell you something real quick. Okay, phone battery dropped 1% on Caldwell, 23% on Rodney's interview. I like it. The best interview is the interviews where John and I don't have to ask a lot of questions.
True.
If you noticed, I asked him about Bear Fretwell, and he said, hey, and also there was another Bear that Alabama committed to Alabama big on. See, he'll go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you all feel, or maybe it's just Curtis, and I'm no Alabama fan, but when Rodney says, let me tell you a story real quick, I don't want it to be real quick.
Oh, me either.
Rodney, man, and usually it's not. He's like John and says, let me tell you a quick story. Anytime John says that, I ease the seat back, get comfortable. But like with Rodney, he says, oh, and by the way, before I go, let me tell you something else. And John and I are both like, serve it up. Hey, man, absolutely. One more little story before we end the interview. He always has time for that. I love that.
Mm-hmm. You better believe it. Great stuff. He's heading out to practice right now. And we'll certainly know more about what happened. Just check it out at TighterInsider.com. All right, Barry, we're not going to sugarcoat it here. It's been a tough week in the Daily Dog. It has been a tough tough week last night. Had the LA Angels at home as an underdog against the Texas Rangers. Man, tough night for the Angels, never in it. And the Rangers win it and hit the road. I think they're actually playing on the road again today, and they're in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. But last night, tough night for the Phantom.
Well, things were okay. It was a 2-1 game. Texas had the lead, 2-1 going into the 8th.
Yeah.
And Texas scored 4 runs in the top of the 8th, led it 6-1. Angels answered with 2 in the bottom of the 8th, but that was it. Texas wins it 6-3.
Yeah.
Final score. And that's not a win.
That's not a win.
That is not a win. That is.
So, yeah, we're moving on, though. We're pressing on. No, not going to be discouraged one little bit. A limited number of games in Major League Baseball today. You might have noticed.
John had a theory as to why there are only 3 games. Normally, the travel days are like Monday and Thursday. You know, you travel sometimes, not every time. I mean, there's always games every day. John complains about that. But there's sometimes you start a weekend series and go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then you travel on Monday, midweek series. You know, Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, travel on Thursday. So usually Monday and Thursday are the light days.
Yep.
But this is really light. This is 3 games. John says it's because you got the NFL Hall of Fame game tonight, the very first offering in the National Football League.
Now, I know they have these big boards with calendars and scheduling, and they're probably going down the board, this big scheduling room, and they get to end of July and they go, hold on, whoa. NFL Hall of Fame game on July 31st. Oh, we don't need to be playing a lot of games on this day. We're going to get blowed out.
Jeff from Billingsley.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff hadn't been on the chat line much this week. He was pretty active last week.
Boy,
but
if you had asked me, I would have put some cash if there was a chance to bet on Jeff from Billingsley blowing out the River Region Strong chat line today in the first day of. I hear so-and-so and such and such had a really good day yesterday. In shorts.
Well, Barry, I don't know if Jeff has the direct line into Kalen DeBoer's office like he had for Saban.
Yeah.
I don't know about it. I don't know. We have to see what Jeff got there. But
so we do have NFL football, so to speak. I mean, it's not really.
Well,
it's not really. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to see iPhone cameras popping all over the place, flashes and everything, because that guy who was a 2-year starter at Weber State is probably going to get in the game at quarterback for the Lions or something like that. So he says, hey, honey, make sure to take a picture of me when I'm out there on the field in my Lions uniform. That way we can blow it up and put it over our mantle whenever I get cut the week after that,
right.
Just to prove to somebody, hey, yeah, I did play for them. So this is just photo ops for a lot of guys who, John, may not make it to August 7th.
Well, it might be more than just a photo op, because you got to, brush the weeds back to see what's all there. And Barry, I know what people are thinking. Only 3 games in Major League Baseball? Forget it. We are going to the National Football League for tonight's Phantoms Daily Dog. It's the Hall of Fame game, Canton, Ohio, Tom Benson Field, I believe it is.
I believe you're right.
Might even be the stadium, might even be named after him.
I think you're right.
Former owner of the New Orleans Saints. Now his wife is the owner of, and the Pelicans too, as a matter of fact.
I think her name's Gail.
I think it is Gail. I think you're right. Not to be confused with Gail Gardner from ESPN from years ago. Wow, there's a blast from the past. How did I come up with that one? Man,
I liked her. She was Linda Cohn-esque.
Yeah, she was okay.
Yeah.
7:00 NBC. Who does is that Tirico, and who does the NBC games now? The former Collinsworth. He's the
Collinsworth and Tirico?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's Tirico.
Tirico was talking about that, about moving over for, he was at ESPN for a long time, did all that stuff, and then moved over to NBC. And I love Tirico. I do. I mean, he was very nice to me last month, but he said, it's just the family atmosphere over at NBC when he was talking in front of, all the broadcasters at the National Sports Media Association banquet in Greensboro I went to last month. Dee and I went to. And he said it was just a family atmosphere over at NBC, and some guys in there. I was looking over the crowd, and they were looking at each other and smiling and, looking at their feed and everything. It's just, it seemed like family over there. And these are all professional broadcasters, and they're looking at it. John, it was the money. Family atmosphere, whatever. They were paying them millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, Exactly right. I like everybody just seemed to belong. No. That money seems to belong in my bank account. That's what it was.
You got that right. Yeah. You got that right.
Okay,
we're going to the National Football. Yeah, folks, football, it's here.
Is this even a lined game?
Oh, is it? Are they playing? I mean, it's like playing golf for fun. I mean, even though I had the nephews out there yesterday, I'm getting in their pockets.
Yeah, but you've got the guy from South Dakota Tech is going to be the starting running back, and you've got the quarterback for one of those teams is going to be, he's from Slippery Rock or something.
So there again in preseason, it's getting the information on what team will play their starters the longest. I think it's basically going to be about the same in terms of starters getting reps tonight. But Barry, what really tells me the telltale sign, the total in this game, pretty low. 32.5 is the total in the Charger line game tonight from Canton. In San Diego, look at me. The Chargers are a 2-point underdog against the Lions tonight. And I like both these teams tomorrow. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk more NFL with my top 10 rankings of the NFL teams going into 2025.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you that both of these teams are in the top 25. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now. They are. I'm just not going to tell you what position they're in.
And some of the outlets out there, I think CBSSports.com has got both the Chargers and the Lions in the top 10.
Yeah, I like them both. I've got them in my top 10 too.
Should be, regardless of who plays and how much, it should be some talent on the field, no doubt.
Oh, no doubt.
Yep.
You better believe it. So, Barry, we're taking the dogs. We're taking the LA Chargers. Like their quarterback, I actually like their coach. I mean, not personally, but he can coach.
Najee Harris is a Charger.
Najee Harris is a Charger. You're exactly right.
Vidal is a Charger.
So we're going to grab the two, taking the Chargers tonight in the National Football League.
By the way, the Braves are on the road at Cincinnati. 6:10 tonight. If you get MLB TV, I think all week you're having free games on LA.
So
the Braves beat the Cincinnati Reds on the road at Brad Bohannon Field. No, I'm sorry, never mind.
Wow.
To try to get out of their funk that they're in, the funk of 40,000 years, they are now a season low 17 games below 500. They're 16 games back of the division-leading Philadelphia Phillies.
Barry, I hate to revel in someone's down on their luck. Been a rough go. I sure hope they can turn it around. I really do.
They won't.
No.
And later on, there'll be a little bit more giddiness. Our buddy Warren says, famous Gales. Not just Gail Gardner, Gail Sayers, Gail from down the street cafe, who I love. Gail Godot, although she spells it without the E on the end.
Who is that?
Oh, she's Wonder Woman. And all the motion pictures. And
I thought that was Linda
Carter.
That
was 40 years ago.
Sorry.
Crystal Gale. Gail King. Is Gail King famous? She's famous for who she knows, I guess. But yeah, those are famous Gales out there.
Gail
1950s singer, actress Gail Storm. Gail Gillingham, who was an offensive lineman for the Green Bay Packers, several of those out there. Gail Gardner, John pulls that up out of somewhere in that filing cabinet.
Was she the
Gail
redhead?
Gardner in 20 years. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a brush with greatness with her, Barry.
Okay, there you go. Okay, that's why it's stuck.
It was Sun Devil Stadium, also known as the Fiasco Bowl.
Oh, the Browning-Nagel Bowl.
The Browning-Nagel game.
Yes.
And I left Montgomery at 7 a.m., flew to Phoenix, got there about, 20 minutes before kick. I know that doesn't shock people. And I'm walking into the stadium, and she's doing a live ESPN shot in front of the stadium. I walked by and went, hey, that's Gail Gardner. She didn't even look at me. Didn't even act like I was there. Gail Gordon, who was that?
Gail Gordon. Gail Gordon was the he was on the Lucy show. Was not I Love Lucy, but the Lucy show with this was after all that. Gail Gordon.
Oh, I know exactly.
That's a guy. That's a dude.
Yep.
That's a guy.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
Like Mr. Mooney. His name was Mr.
Yes.
Mooney.
Lucy's boss, I believe.
That's exactly right. Lucy
gotcha.
Carmichael instead of Lucy Ricardo.
That's exactly
Got to
right.
take a break.
Yeah,
when we come back, we're done showing off the breadth of our knowledge. Coming up, it's our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
It's about 18 minutes to the top of the hour here on this Thursday. I want to remind everybody we'll be out at Stivers Ford tomorrow, where Price sells cars, kicking off a brand new month with August 1 tomorrow. Great deals. We'll tell you all about it at Stivers Ford, where Price sells cars. Huge inventory. We can't stress that enough. Barry, I don't think there's a dealership in the state of Alabama, maybe within a 3 or 4 state area, that has as many vehicles on the ground as Stivers Ford does. And tomorrow when you pull in from Troy, as you kind of take that turn off of the Troy Highway onto the bypass there,
right?
Look kind of, let's see, you'll be coming that way to your left, slightly left of the dealership. If you're facing it, you're going to notice that several buildings have been torn down.
Oh, to make more room?
To make more room. You're exactly right.
They're bringing in even more?
Bringing in even more. They're actually going to be building, I don't want to let it out of the bag just yet, but there's some exciting things going on there at the dealerships. A couple of buildings are going to be built where the buildings that were torn down were, to allow for more room, more space, and going to be pretty exciting. So just check that out tomorrow as you drive in. You'll go, wow, man, look at that. They're busy.
One more quick note on that. John mentioned a week or two ago that one of his youngsters, they have purchased a vehicle from Stivers. They actually went the extra mile for it. They actually went out and looked for it and got exactly what you and he wanted and brought it back. If you've got a youngster that maybe is starting college in a couple of weeks, You want to get him something reliable and sporty and good looking, and it's going to be a tremendous deal. Now's the time. This weekend would be a perfect time.
Great vehicles for college students.
Yeah.
New drivers. Yeah, Barry. Obviously Stivers has dealerships all across the South, and they've got dealerships in Birmingham. And our man Hunter, I said, Hunter, hey man, my son saw this vehicle on your website, but it's in Birmingham. Can y'all get it here? And he looked at me like, can we get it here? I mean, like he couldn't believe I asked him that. He goes, yeah, sure, we'll get it. I'll get somebody to bring it down here for you. It'll be here tomorrow for y'all to check it out. I went, wow, man, thanks so much. That's awesome. That's called service right there, Barry.
That's called keeping your promise. I mean, he made a commitment, says, we'll get it to you, and we'll get it to you tomorrow. Yeah. And unlike a lot of dealerships, he came through.
He certainly did.
We're looking forward to being there tomorrow for sure.
Test drove it. Thing looked great. Man, it was awesome. So great buying experience.
Yeah.
We'll tell you all about it tomorrow out at Stivers.
Now, time for the Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, curated by our producer, Gurn Jr. here.
6 total topics today that we have not seen. We have no idea.
This is the first time we're looking at them right here. And Gurn not only does a good job of researching and picking these, but he also does a good job of coming up with the little titles, because like twin trade can mean anything. Short stick, it could mean literally anything.
Wait a minute. Is that Hugh Freeze describing a part of his football team?
Or part of his something.
Not length and girth. And now we're to short stick.
I don't want to get in trouble. It's all brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too.
Ooh, I like that topic right there. That one right there. Okay, all right. Let's spin it, Gurn. Let's see what is going on the Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, brought to you by our friends at Victor. Whoa, look at that. Look where it lands.
Short stick. We'll know immediately what this is all about. Oh, pro golfer. What?
Wait a minute. That looks
Who in the heck is this? All right, give it to me. Who is it? Yeah, throw it to the. All right. Is there a video here?
He's been over. Let's see who this guy is. Let's see.
Philippe Gariepi.
Here we go. Yeah. Wait a minute. No way he makes this putt. There. There's no way. Well, does he reach over?
Heck?
Well, man.
All right.
We've had the tall putter. We've had the belly putter. Now we're going to the short putters. All right, who is this guy, Bear? Is he some Frenchie or what?
Gotta be. And there's a reason why he uses a short putter. Why in the world? Is it cost? I mean, can he not afford to buy a full-grown one? Okay, Philippe Gariepi, this video is from the Canadian Open or something like that. And he did pretty well. It is 12 inches. Gariepi 6'4".
Yeah.
His putter is 18 inches, which evidently the rules of golf, which I always have a problem with. The rules of golf say that your putter's got to be at least 18 inches. He says, Gariepi said, you can get much better reads when you're so low to the ground, which is why Terry Bowden was such a great putter. You can get much.
Have you seen Big C putt?
Oh my gosh, great short game. And with a putter that short, it's impossible to yip. Evidently, he's had the yips before. He's had the heebie-jeebies.
It'll happen.
And he's tried belly putters, regulation putters. You can buy a putter that looks like the Eiffel Tower if you want to. Yeah. But he used his daughter's putter and drained the putt, just in a practice round or something like that.
Right. Awesome. Love it.
So, yeah.
Love it.
It began with his daughter's putter. He says he can get a better look at it, a better read when he's down.
That makes sense. Closer to the action.
Go figure.
Robbie.
He's had He's had a full day with us.
He
here
has had
today.
a full day with us. But I just hate this mindset of, well, you might lose a game. No, you might win it too. And this crowd, well, you can't play all these tough games. You might lose one of them. You might lose 3 or 4. Well, you might win every one of them too.
You're not taking that into consideration, John.
No, I'm not.
All right. What else?
All
Here we go.
Let's go. Let's
Philippe
spin it.
Gariepe.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've never heard of that guy.
18-inch putter.
Man,
Goodness gracious.
Okay, here we go. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. It's going to land on.
This is twin trade. Yes.
What we got here?
All right. Twin brothers traded on the same day. Well, look at the right-hander for the Giants, left-hander for the Reds. Yikes. Were they traded for each other?
I was just thinking that would be interesting if they just flip-flop the two.
Let's see. I've got to figure this out.
Exchanging lineup cards with identical
Twin brother. Interesting.
Now, Barry, I'm surprised you the baseball guy. This is interesting.
I do not know. I do not know who these guys are. Let's see. Hold up. No, that's not it. That's not it. You got to throw it to me to the top. This is, let's see. The left-hander is Taylor Rogers. The right-hander is Tyler Rogers. See, that's another thing. Naming your kids like Billy and Willie or Ronnie and Donnie or something like that. Stop it.
Yeah, come
Give
on.
them names. Taylor and Tyler. They both got traded on not for each other, but they got traded. I don't know that that's ever happened in any professional sport on the same.
I don't think it has either. I'm with you there as well. Wasn't there a rock star Rogers, Mick Rogers, maybe something like that? I don't know. One of the guys in Duran Duran, I think, was Rogers. Anyway,
there's a guy named Nile Rogers, a guy named Paul Rogers, who were Taylor was dealt from the Reds to the Pirates. Tyler is heading from the Giants. I think he's going to the Mets. Yeah, one of them's 34. I should hear about that.
Yeah,
they had actually been teammates together for 2 years with the Giants. So there's that story. I thought it was like the Minnesota Twins had traded somebody, but no. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Tobias, you're right on that one, man. Great comment from Tobias from the desert today.
Yeah.
Tarleton State. Where actually is that? Where's Tarleton?
It is in Stephenville, Texas, I believe. Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, back at it. About 7 minutes to the top of the hour. We have 4 more topics to get to on the panel. Let's see what we're in store for. We haven't seen these, folks. It's new to us as it is to you as well.
Yep. Here we go. Fire
Spin
that
away. Victoryland 777 Casino. You see the logo right in the middle of that wheel right there.
I like it when John uses his FM DJ voice.
Oh, yeah.
Victoryland. That's his van.
Fed up is what it is. Was this about my old job?
Oh, no. Brian Schottenheimer, the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, in case you didn't know. Marty's boy played quarterback, who was on the team at quarterback at Florida. They must have had 5 or 6 fights yesterday in practice.
Beautiful. Good.
And, fights. I mean, they can be anything, and they break them up quickly and all that kind of stuff. And then the guys have to run sideline to sideline or anything. Well, it got to the point, it's hot and it's nasty, and everybody's trying to announce their presence with authority. That you weren't able to practice. You weren't able to do anything. I mean, you couldn't go 2 minutes without somebody else throwing down and all that. So finally, and I don't know that Gurn has the video of the dressing down that Coach Schottenheimer gave to the players, but there's a lot of bleeps in it.
Oh,
and
excellent.
He finally told them, look, guys, cut it out. We're going to cut some of you if you guys don't stop bleeping fighting. We can't even practice. It's that kind of a thing. The tempers are short because the Cowboys once again aren't going to make the playoffs. The best player, Micah Parsons, is not practicing because he's not happy. Jerry Jones is screwing up by telling him, he needs to want to sign or something like that. And then you got a first-year head coach, John. He wants to announce his presence with authority, too. He doesn't want everybody to just ignore him and keep fighting. So the players are all testy. They're all hot and bothered. And then the coach comes out there, and he's you ever have that when the coach just calls everybody together? You have to take a knee in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I used to have a junior high school coach, Coach Uffner. He used to use the phrase numbnuts. And as a 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, I didn't. That's the first time I'd heard that word, and I'm thinking,
it goes along with grab-assing.
Yeah.
Same type thing there.
Yeah.
Barry, when a fight broke out, Jeff Davis in August during 2-a-days, and it's hot, I always found it interesting that the coaches couldn't find their whistles. I mean, that fight would go on about a good 30, 45, maybe a minute. Then they start blowing the whistles. I said,
at that point, and the coaches know this, at that point, the coaches know the players don't want to stop because, one of them has to win the fight, right?
Yeah.
But they get tired of fighting. It's hot and everything. They're thinking, man, is that coach not going to blow the whistle? While you take another half-hearted swipe at him or you grab his face mask. Because the players, they're like, I don't want that guy to get anybody to say he's got the best me, so I'm still going to keep fighting. But, man, somebody blow a whistle. Can we get Longshore in the back to just, himself or something? Yeah.
Can you believe that guy said that about you? And you
Brian,
took that? Oh, yeah.
Brian Schottenheimer had enough. That's a good
There
one.
you go.
Like it.
3 more to go. Let's see if we can squeeze them in. I believe we can.
I do so.
Spin away. 3 colors left. 3 panels left. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel is
going to be on Can't Do That.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it is. Is this Hammer?
Can't do that.
Oh, that's Can't Touch That.
Oh, Gilbert Arenas, who was a really good NBA player, played college at Arizona, I believe. Illegal gambling ring, and some of the people, that were allegedly a part of it might have been some pretty heavy hitters. You haven't heard of any of these other guys. They all have.
Wait a minute. A suspected organized crime figure from Israel? What?
Yes. These are people who you better pay on time, I guess.
That ain't Guido.
Federal indictment running an illegal gambling business. Gilbert Arenas is 43 years old. Again, good player. You're gonna have to have John with some titles. Renting out his mansion for about a year, September 21 to July 2022, for the purpose of hosting illegal high-stakes poker games, including pot limit Omaha games. The defendants are said to collect a rake, which is a fee that the house charges from each pot, staff the games with young women, chefs, valets, and armed security guards. So this is
what made that illegal, Barry, is the house gets a cut of it. If you're just playing poker with your buddies, no big deal.
That's why I wanted John's input, because I did.
No big deal.
You can't play poker?
Yeah, you just can't. The house can't, get the cut and provide all that other stuff.
Yeah, hence the title of Gurn's piece of the pie there. Can't do that. You cannot do that, Gilbert. All right, back to the wheel.
2 more to go.
Here we go.
2 more big spins.
Got about a minute, and we have to hustle through, but we can do it.
Green and blue. Color combination, Seattle Seahawks.
Big ouch. Ooh,
Somebody
another bad
stubbed their
hop
toe?
pounder.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
no.
happened here?
Big ouch. Here we go.
Ooh.
This is Ian Happ, outfielder for the Cubs. I hate it when that happens. There's really nothing you can do. You can wear a guard down on your ankle, but when you foul it off like the high shin, there's no.
That's
right.
tough. That's
Under
going to leave
the
a bruise.
knee. It ain't the ankle. It's up on the top of the shin where you can't get a.
That's going to
guard.
leave
That's
bruise.
bone bruise and everything.
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
tough.
makes my eyes.
Put some
water.
ice on it.
Yep.
Rub
There
a
we
little
go.
dirt on it. Barry, before
more.
we get to our last panel, maybe tomorrow, speaking of gambling, we'll take some wagers on what will be the last topic we get to. How about that?
Okay, let's do that beforehand. Okay, which one's going to be the last one? Today on the Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, our last topic is who you got?
Who you got?
Who you got? Who you got?
Who you got? Let me think what this could be about. Who
Between this guy and that guy and that guy, who you got?
Who you got?
Wyndham Championship predictions. Prop bets. Matt Fitzpatrick,
That's
Keegan Bradley,
$2,000.
Wyndham Clark, Matsuyama.
Well, is Scotty Scheffler not playing? There's Jordan Spieth.
Lucas Glover. Whatever happened with Spieth? I don't know.
Who
you got?
Sometimes the fire kind of dwindles a little
I'm
bit.
going with the guy with the 18-foot putt. 18-inch putt.
Yeah,
I'm going for him.
There
you go.
Good
All
stuff
brought to
there.
you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. Like the energy in the show today, John. Plenty of information as well. Football is on the doorstep.
It certainly is. Got a game tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow, as well as the NFL Top 10. We'll get into that tomorrow as well. So much more to discuss with college football on the practice field. Now, high school's getting out there as well. So a lot to go over tomorrow from Stivers Ford in Montgomery. That's where we'll be.
Many, many thanks and appreciation to Rodney Orr, TigerInsider.com. His segment always brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com. For Gurn Jr. and for John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.